Right, a very good afternoon and many thanks for joining us at this time. You're watching News Analysis live on Politics and Business TV. The top stories. Federal government says its doors are open to effective collaboration with relevant stakeholders to address causes of multi-dimensional poverty in the country. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Kayode, insists the anti-graft agency would bring the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yaya Bello, to account for his tenure in office. Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Aliyu dethrones 15 district heads for aiding insecurity. Details coming up shortly. Welcome back. I am Omo Peace Osemere. Now, the federal government has said its doors are open to effective collaboration with relevant stakeholders to address causes of multi-dimensional poverty and other socio-economic challenges in the country. Vice President Kashim Shettima said in Abuja at the National Savings Group Conference 2024 themed Accelerating Financial and Economic Inclusion, the pivotal role of savings groups in Nigeria, organized by Care International, Plan International, Oxfam, Christian Aid, Action Aid Nigeria, Mercy Corps, Catholic Relief Services, and World Bank, among others. According to media reports, Shettima, who was represented by the technical advisor to the President on Financial Inclusion, Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar Zoro, said plans had been concluded to interact with local and international stakeholders on inclusion to tap into their experiences for Nigeria to meet global best practices. The Federal Ministry of Finance says it has recovered over 57 billion naira from the 5.2 trillion naira debt owed by ministries, departments and agencies to the federal government. The Director, Special Projects, Federal Ministry of Finance, Aisha Omar, disclosed this during a one-day workshop on the federal government debt recovery drive through the Project Lighthouse program for the Southeast Zone. Omar, who was however represented by the Deputy Director of Special Projects in the ministry, Bridget Moluku, revealed that the debt came to the spotlight from data aggregated from over 5,000 debtors across more than 93 MDAs. But according to media reports, although Omar claimed more recoveries had been made, she could not provide the data. Moloko said other refunds were unpaid credit facilities granted to both corporate entities and individuals by the Bank of Industry and Bank of Agriculture, judgment debt in favor of the government, and debt owed a pension transitional arrangement directorate by insurance companies, amongst others. The federal government says it is aiming to attract about $10 billion worth of investment through the signing of the consolidated guidelines for the implementation of fiscal incentives for the oil and gas sector. According to media reports, the signing of the guidelines was presided over by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, at the Federal Ministry of Finance headquarters in Abuja. The guidelines, the cornerstone of the presidential directives, are aimed at enhancing the Nigerian oil and gas sector's global competitiveness whilst stimulating economic growth. A statement from the ministry revealed the presidential directives were developed and coordinated by the special advisor to the president on energy, Olu Vehijen, to ensure a competitive framework for the Nigerian oil and gas industry. According to Vehijen, these new measures have been designed to deliver a competitive internal rate of return for oil and gas projects and attract over $10 billion in new investments within the next 12 to 18 months. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ola Olukoyede, says investigation by the Anti-Graft Agency revealed that the embattled former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, withdrew $720,000 from the state's coffers to pay his child's school fees. Olukoyede, who disclosed this during a chat with editors, bureau chiefs, and media executives at the EFCC headquarters, Jabi, Abuja, said he had personally put a call through to Bello, inviting him to clear the air on the issues, but he refused to honor invitations. This revelation comes amid the raging controversy and counterclaims between the EFCC and the ex-governor Yahaya Bello, who is insisting that the attempt by the EFCC to arrest him and prosecute him for an alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud was in violation of a February 6th order of the Federal High Court in Lokoja restraining the Anti-Graft Agency. But Olukoyede has insisted that the Anti-Graft Agency will do everything humanly possible to bring the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, to account for his tenure in office. Right, you're watching news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Still to come, Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has rejected a proposal for the creation of state police, warning that the governors can abuse the outfit for political or personal gains and compromise human rights and national security. While this appears to be quite a controversial proposition, mixed views have been trailing it. However, the federal government has insisted there was no going back on the initiative. A candid conversation on this in a moment. Do join us again. You are watching news analysis live on Politics and Business TV. Still staying with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, it is built to arraign a former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, in connection with the botched Nigeria Air project next week. A source in the Anti-Graft Agency who spoke on the condition of anonymity said interrogators are probing Sirika over the controversial Nigeria Air project that failed. The ex-minister was reportedly taken into custody by the EFCC yesterday for questioning. In the meantime, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has urged Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court, Abuja, to deny the bail application of the detained Binance Holdings Limited executive Tigran Gambarian. The Anti-Graft Agency said it was too risky to admit the foreigner to bail, noting the escape of his co-defendant Nadeem Anjarwalla from the custody of the National Security Advisor to Kenya. Prosecuting counsel for the EFCC, Emeka Ihanacho, had told the court that the Anti-Graft Agency uncovered an alleged plot by Gambarian to obtain a new passport to facilitate his escape from Nigeria after the commission had seized his passport. Gambarian, his fleeing colleague Anjarwalla, and Binance Holdings Limited have been prosecuted by the EFCC on money laundering charges. The Anti-Graft Agency accused them of concealing the source of the $35.4 million generated as revenue by Binance in Nigeria, knowing that the funds constituted proceeds of unlawful activity. Now let's head on to Sokoto State, where the governor Ahmed Aliyu has dethroned 15 district heads over alleged insubordination, land racketeering, aiding insecurity, and conversion of public properties. The district heads dethroned include Ngwarlale, Yabo, Wamako, Tulua, Ilela, Dongondaji, Kekwe, Alkamo, and Giawa district. Others were those appointed by the former governor Aminu Tambuwal at the tail end of his administration. According to a statement by the press secretary to the governor, Abubakar Bawa said the cases involving district heads of Isa, Kuchi, Kilgori, and Gagi have been recommended for further investigations. Similarly, the Sarkin Yakin Binji, a senior councillor in the Sultanate Council, was however transferred to Bunkari, while the district head of Sabon Birni was deployed to Gachawa. Bawa also, in a statement, noted that 7 other district heads have been retained by the government. And out of other matters, where the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has rejected the proposal for the creation of state police, warning that the governors can abuse the outfit for political or personal gains and compromise human rights and national security. The IG stated this at the National Dialogue on State Policing, organized by the House of Representatives in Abuja on Monday, was the theme Pathways to Peace, Reimagining Policing in Nigeria. However, the federal government insisted there was no going back on the initiative. According to media reports, Vice President Kashim Shettima had at the event reiterated the Bola Tinubu administration's commitment to creating an enabling environment for the establishment of state police across the country. While it is a no-brainer that Nigeria has been grappling with multifaceted security challenges for the past years, President Tinubu and state governors agreed to come up with modalities that would culminate in the creation of state police to tackle the security crisis. This was part of the agreement reached at an emergency meeting between the president and 36 state governors at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, in February. So far, about 20 governors have submitted reports expressing their support for state police to the National Economic Council, with hopes that others would follow suit as soon as possible. Former Nigeria's military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired. Ex-President Goodluck Jonathan, amongst others, as some political figures who have thrown their weight behind the creation of state police. Joining me now via Zoom to discuss this is Corps Commandant General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO, a counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency organization, Dr. Sani Aliyu. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon for having me.
Right, Dr. Sani, if you can hear me, I'd like to get your insight or thoughts on, this proposition for the creation of state police.
First of all, I would like to agree with the idea of police at its first time, because it is true that Nigeria is not right to have the state police, going by the dynamics of our relationship, kind of the state of patriotism in this country. So it is not a very good move to start state police at this time, because we are not mature for that. If you want to look at the situation of what is happening across the region.
Yes, when you say that we're not matured, for the creation of state police, what exactly do you mean? At what point do we have to create the state police?
First of all, the extent of patriotism in this country is far below what is expected to be seen, for you to be seen as a citizen of a country that has the country at heart. Going by the lot of agitation that is happening in the east, you have the Biafran agitators. In the west, you have the Yoruba nation agitators. In the north, you now see the formation of Katakori, or whatever they call the Katakori organization. A tribe that is constituted itself to become vigilantes within the vast, multi-diverse population in the north. And so you began to get worried, considering again the trend of the attitudinal trend of the governors. The governors will, like the IGP said rightly, the governors will misuse the state police, because they are under the governor's command, and they use them for their political gains. And okay, they will use them to use them again to fight their enemies, and so on and so forth. So the extent of forming the state police will have been defeated by the governors way of misusing the intent. So what I am suggesting, rather than creating a state police, is to create an organization, an agency, sorry, with national head and indigenous arms. National head means that the organization.
Dr. Sani, I'm sorry to butt you. Before you share your thoughts on your suggestion, will it be intelligent to think that the stance of the IGP of police saying that Nigeria is not ripe enough for the creation of police is coming from a place of personal sentiment? Perhaps he fears that the force will be incapacitated, in terms of financial gains.
Not at all. We are talking of how to procure security and peace to the Nigerian nation. And as it is today, you see a couple of weeks ago, a group that called themselves Yoruba Nation Agitators, where we went to the State Assembly in Oyo State, Ibadan to be precise, to overthrow with the intention of overthrowing the State Assembly. So if you have state police that are from that same region and from that same state, and the governor is a sympathetic person, also a sympathizer, or agree with the intention of creating Yoruba nation, how do you stop the governor from such acts? Meanwhile, they have the opportunity, all the governor have the opportunity to equip this police the way they want to equip them, and so it will become an issue between the federal police and the state police, and then the military itself, because at that time you will not be able to quell this the real head of monster that will come up as agitators of creating a country of their own. And if we need and desire the unity of this country and the peace, harmony, and come together of Nigeria, we do not need to create such a monster that is going to harvest on Nigeria very soon. Creating state police is like telling Nigerians that, okay, it is time for everybody to go his own way. It is a very dangerous thing to do at this time. The police IG is speaking from the inside, from his knowledge of policing. He's a well-endowed, knowledgeable officer at the ranking of Inspector General of Police. He knows Nigeria better than anybody, and the workings of security and the minds of Nigeria in terms of security and procurement of peace and stability in this country. He's very well endowed, and I'm very much in support of his own opinion, because people that, if you are a Nigerian and a passionate Nigerian in that matter, a patriotic one for that matter, you will know that it's a hydra-headed monster to creating a state police in Nigeria. We have other options, best options that we can do to keep Nigerian of insecurity.
If you let me, Dr. Sani, as a security analyst, I mean, over time there have been calls for intelligence gathering, from locals within these communities that are being, ravaged or terrorized by these non-state actors. How do you now decipher or juxtapose the fact that creation of state police is going to spell doom for the country, when, I mean, it's supposed to be grassroots based?
Well, talking about grassroots based, yes, it will be grassroots based, but like I said, and like the IGP pointed out, the governors will misuse it, and because of lack of patriotism in most of our leaders' mind, they will use this to in terms of tearing this country apart. So when we are talking about grassroots-based security, that's why I'm bringing this suggestion. Like my organization, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, I'm not advertising the organization, but this is the structure. We have a national head and indigenous arms. All members of the organization operate within their local communities. If you are from Oyo State, you are people from Oyo State, in your local government, your village, and so on and so forth. So procuring intelligence and informations from those from that level is high and good. and communicating to the center for processing, and then action, making it an actionable forward order. You can do it very clearly, like we have been doing over time, is helping the military with intelligence, good intelligence or actionable intelligence within their area of responsibilities. And I think we have been on that. The only thing that is worrying is that if you want to look at the Nigerian security situation, or the impact as per Global Terrorism Index as of today, Nigeria, from third most terrorized country in maybe 2014, 2015, is now in the number 8 and the index level. So Nigeria has progressed very well during the former administration in dealing with the terrorism, and the military has done marvelously well, but it's still not good enough for the country being at the position 8. There are countries with 0% terrorism. There are countries with 1 or 2% terrorism. So we need to still scale it down. How do we scale this down? We have to have an organization that will be taking the responsibility of action and inaction, or success or not successful in terms of combating terrorism. So that is why we need to create this organization called Counter-Terrorism Organization. Given to the size of Nigeria, a country of 923.769 square kilometer with over 230 million people, and you have a total security force, including the military, with about 700,000 population, far less than 1 million. And you think these people, you expect this population to procure security and safety for a country of 230 million people spread in 923 square kilometers? That is a huge joke.
All right, Dr. Sani. Yes, I'm sorry to bother you again. Quite an insightful suggestion you're making there. But does this also speak to the creation of a counter-terrorism center that we heard about on Monday?
No, that is called counter-terrorism center. A center doesn't have full soldiers. A center doesn't have capacity to go into action. What we desire in this country is to protect our military integrity. For all intent and purposes, Nigerian military contract with Nigerian people or with Nigerian state is to protect the territorial integrity of our nation. They do not have any business for internal security, such as fighting terrorism. They don't have any business there. If you want to taking sample for liken it to what happened in America in 9/11, you will see that of course when that 9/11 situation came, the state of America actually brought everybody together to immediately put a check on the situation. But thereafter, they quickly went back to their drawing board and create what is called Homeland Security. Now, Homeland Security, constitutionally, American Constitution has given them the mandate to combat counter-terrorism. Nigeria, in that most terrorized country before, and now 8th most terrorized country, doesn't have an agency that is called counter-terrorism agency that is given the responsibility to do this job. And
Doctor,
we are,
yes. Time is not our friend. I'm sorry, but before we wrap up the conversation, there have been concerns, aside the fact that some of the state governors, may want to abuse the whole process in terms of creating state police to their own advantage. There have been concerns around, funding and some other demerits of state policing. How best can the federal and state governments, proactively address these concerns?
Well, like I said, there's only one option to this situation: create a counter-terrorism agency. What we are suffering in Nigeria is terrorism and banditry. Now you have to create a counter-terrorism agency that will be mandated by the federal government, and that agency will be having a national head and indigenous arms. This way, the state governors cannot interfere in the activities of that agency. The federal government will be the one to appoint the head, and will be the one to monitor the activities and so on and so forth for the good of the Nigerian people. And talking about no money to do this thing, to run another agency, that is not true. We can, every blue chip company, every other company that is doing business in Nigeria, we must create a fund, a security fund, that every business person in Nigeria is contributing that fund for the security and safety of the environment of the state, that can harness and provide them with the business atmosphere they require to progress and succeed in this country. Because without security, there is no prosperity anywhere in the country, in any place in the world. So we need to take it as
Well, I guess that would be it. I mean, for today, Dr. Sani Aliyu, Corps Commandant General, Neighborhood Enlightenment and Safety Organization, NESO, a counterterrorism and counterinsurgency organization. Thank you so much for talking to us, Dr. Sani. I'm afraid we just have to leave it here.
Thank you very much for having me on board.
Thank you. And that's it for news analysis today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Omo Ife Peace Osemere.